In this video I am talking about this Sony 135mm f1.8 G master lens. In my review not long ago, I have claimed that 90mm macro f2.8 Sony lens is the best prime out there, but since then a lot of you out there have tried to convince me that I am actually wrong, and this 135mm f1.8 G master lens is the best prime Sony is making now. So let's find out. Firstly, I need to say massive thank you to UK Digital for lending this to me for this review, and I must stress that I am not being paid by UK Digital, Sony or anyone to say anything specific, so this is my honest opinion. Pretty much all Sony lenses are expensive, but the G master lenses, they are cream of the crop and are the most expensive Sony lenses that you can buy. These lenses are designed and priced with a professional photographer filmmaker in mind, but are they actually that much better than other lenses, and are they worth the money? This one, the 135mm G master lens, retails here in UK for £1,699. It costs as much as a 7.3 camera. Maybe it's a special thing or maybe not. If you are using any of the Sigma art lenses, they all come in the nice padded cases, but Sony lenses, the G lenses, usually come in these, they do come in these flimsy little horrible things. But this one, the G master lenses, come in a very similar to Sigma padded cases with a strap. Well, not a special feature, but if you think something important to you, storing the lens in a secure padding case, it comes with one. The lens is large, but not heavy. Well, it is heavy, it's actually 950 grams, but it doesn't feel that heavy because it's very well balanced. It doesn't feel front heavy when you put it on the camera. There is a lot of buttons on this lens. Firstly, there is two focus hold buttons, one on top, one on the side, so when you turn the camera it's always under your thumb of your left hand. You can program these to any functions you want via your camera. There is also a standard automatic and manual focus switch. There is also a focus distance switch. It's very similar to the macro lens, Sony macro lens. It basically reduces the focus travel from one to the other. So from focusing on something very, very far away to something focusing very close. So the first switch position is full, which is exactly that, focusing on something far away to focusing on something very, very close to you. But then you can reduce the focusing range on this. You can focus from infinity, from far away, to only 1.5 meter, which is perfect for headshots, portrait type of scenario. Or the last positional switch, 2 meters to the minimum focusing distance of 0.7 meters. So you won't focus far away, only up to 2 meters away and super close. Yeah, it's only there to speed up the autofocusing, but it is very handy function. There is a manual aperture ring on this lens, which is a great way to control your aperture quickly on the lens, not the camera. But if you want to control it from the camera, there is an automatic switch as well. You can put the aperture into automatic, and with this selected you can actually control the aperture via camera. There's also another switch on the bottom here when you can actually declick your aperture, so it's smooth and silent while you filming. There is no internal IBIS built into this lens. For this price and this focal length, it's a bit of a surprise, but if you got a camera with an internal stabilization, it works well with this lens. It's built to last, and it feels and looks like a proper professional lens, and there's literally nothing anyone could complain about the build of this lens, well, apart from the weight, but I kind of like it. Photography performance, this is exactly where you're gonna see where the value of this lens is. The performance is just outstanding. The sharpness, the autofocus is just spot on every single time. But also the color, the contrast, the skin tones, the blues, the greens, the blacks, they all pop out literally significantly more than from any other Sony lens I have ever used. They just look beautifully and they require significantly less editing due to quality of these superb optics. It is portrait focal length and it doesn't feel wrong, it feels just right photographing headshots or people kind of waist up, but you're gonna quickly realize that if you want to take a picture of a full body, full person, you have to go really far back. I don't know, I didn't measure it, but probably 10 meters, somewhere there. So taking a picture of a full person, it could be very tricky indoors. Not impossible, but you would need a big indoors. On the other hand, saying this, you're never really that close to your model, to your subject. So if you're photographing someone camera shy, you're never actually in their face with the camera, and in result, it's gonna make them feel more comfortable and look better on the photos. The lens is very sharp at all apertures, but let's face it, it is a bokeh monster and it wants to be used at the widest aperture. So at f1.8, the sharpness is just mind-blowing. And combining that with that perfect portrait focal length, you get some incredible looking images and incredible looking bokeh. Apart from the portrait photography, which this focal length is kind of obvious for, it's great for close-up photography. Maybe not macro, but very, very close. So great to capture the details of plants, products or food. The autofocus is incredibly fast, super accurate and absolutely silent. Video performance, although I have used 135mm lenses for video work before, it's not your run and gun everyday video lens. To get people in your shots, it's not the most practical lens for that. You have to have room to be able to step back. But it is great for capturing details and close-ups. Close focusing distance of this lens allows you to get close to your subject and release that super sharpness this lens delivers at all fronts. Although it is great at autofocusing, I have really enjoyed using it fully manual. The macro adjustments of focus with that focusing ring are super accurate. And also the weight, although it's not stabilized lens, the weight really helps to keep the camera steadier in your hands when you're doing handheld shots. Not the most versatile for video work, but great if you got room to step back or for close-up work. So the conclusion is, for the price of this lens, you could get another camera or maybe two G or Zeiss lenses instead. But is it worth the money? Lens like this, the G Master lens, is not for everyone. But if you do portrait photography for a living, maybe dogs, pets, kids, and you actually charging for your services, you are a professional photographer, I would recommend this very, very, very highly. The quality it delivers is seriously superb and it's definitely worth considering to make your job easier and your photos better. If you are not a pro and you can justify price of this lens for your hobby, then that's amazing. But if you can't, I'd suggest to try maybe one of the Sony zooms to give you this focal range and maybe a little bit more at either end to give you more versatility. Overall, I think this lens deserves 10 out of 10 for the build and the quality performance. Truly outstanding piece of kit. And this is it from me. If you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up. If you like this kind of content, cameras, lenses, photography, video, reviews, please consider subscribing. And thank you for watching. See you next time. Maybe it is something special, maybe not. If you use any of the... how many times? So if you are photographing someone who is camera shy, you will never be sticking that face in their face. And there's your TV, is there a chance you could just turn it down by a notch? Please. God, what a fly. There's a fly sitting on my face on the screen.